Hello everyone, it's Karen Schaefer, founder of APSD, the Association of Property Scene Designers. You can find us at apsdmembers.com. Great to have all of you here tonight on our call, which is our APSD Home Staging Business and Marketing webinar. I promise you this one is absolutely invaluable in building and growing your home staging business. It's also very, very content rich, so please get a pen and paper and be ready to take some notes because I'm going to give you some information and it'll go really, really fast. So scribble away because you'll definitely need these notes, I promise. But this is one of those things that I only really like to share with my members because it's so valuable to me. It takes a little bit of work, but not too much, and yet it always yields me jobs and new clients every single time. So again, completely invaluable. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, before we go, I want you to know you're welcome to type in any questions as we go. We'll be glad to get them answered. And in addition to that, at the end, I'll open it up for live Q&A, which is always a lot of fun. If you haven't been on one of these calls before, the live Q&A is one of those things that really I think you learn just as much by listening to other people's questions and by asking questions as you do from all of the content that I give as well. So once again, welcome. By the way, for those of you that are interested in the half-price home stager special, that does end right away, so tonight, technically. So if you go to apsdmembers.com/start today, you can still get in on our half-price special before it ends. And if you're at the level where you're ready to do a six-figure home staging business, we're offering our all-new, for the first time ever, online property scene designer training with one-on-one coaching directly with me, and you can find that at apsdmembers.com/PD. P like property, D like designer. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Tonight I want to talk about the home staging happy hour. First thing we want to do is really talk about who the buyer is. Well, it's in a revitalization area. It's young professional, Silver Spoon grad or pre-med student, alternative lifestyle. So I tell them who it is. Then I show them the first photos of the befores and after, and I kind of explain it ever so slightly. Again, I'm not teaching them how to stage, and that's important because many of you go, Karen, I've seen those photos. I've heard you talk through them. I don't talk through them in the same way. I say, okay, now depending on who our customer is, now you guys can see why we chose what we did. You see very clearly a nice color pattern there. You see that it creates a little bit better flow. All of a sudden it becomes warm and inviting versus blank and cold, and they all start nodding their heads yes in agreement. And I say you can see how we build the scenes. It really, really engages the customer as well. Then I show them the bathroom. I kind of walk through the same thing, and then I tell them again what we did in order to really attract the buyer, but I don't teach them how to stage. And I want to get really clear on that because you're only going to have their attention for like 10 minutes. So I'm doing all this in about 10 minutes because what I really want to do is show them the little staging demonstrations and then talk to them, just develop a personal relationship with them, right? So I go through each and every room in the house, and then I say, you know, the problem with staging, because a lot of them are like, well, I either stage, or I have a stager, or I had a bad experience with stagers, or I don't believe in stagers. We all know this, right? So I say, you know, the problem with staging, and then I repeat what I just said, is how many of you had a bad experience staging? How many of you think you are stagers? How many, you know, and I kind of go through that list, and we start to have fun, and we start to laugh, right? I go, well, for me, the problem with staging is random accessorizing. You know, have you ever seen like a drive-by staging or something like that? And we all laugh. And I say there's no connection to the buyer. How many of you'd like to go into a home knowing that it's been staged specifically for that buyer, so that buyer falls in love with it? Most stagers don't do that. They just stage, you know, very just in a general way. We stage in a specific way. That's why we start by defining the buyer. Or they don't complete a scene. I say, well, here, you know, here's what I call a drive-by staging. You know, let me throw a few things in there. I got to keep moving. And everybody laughs, and I go, okay, well, and here's what some people think is a scene, but it's really what I call a lack of scene because there's no scene whatsoever. You know, or there's no purpose to what we're doing either. Oh, I had extra toys, let me throw them in here. So we kind of make just a little bit of a joke about it. Of course, these are just, you know, things where people are trying something new, so we don't fault them for that at all. But we just make a little bit of a joke about it because most agents really don't know how to stage. They've never been taught how to stage. They're just randomly guessing, right? So then we talk more about the buyer, first time. Who is this buyer? Is it a first-time home buyer, young family, working class, blah, blah, blah. So we go back to, beginning where we started, right? So if we want to do a second house, or if we want to talk about a different kind of house, we do the same thing. And we go, okay, well, with some of our buyers, what we find in a young family is there's no purpose. If this is an entry-level home, it's really easy to still do some extraordinary staging that'll still attract the family and the kids. It'll even update an otherwise kind of ugly, misplaced room. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it shouldn't be a drive-by stage, right? Instead of that, let's be specific and very, very purposeful in what we do. And instead of lacking a scene, what we really need to do is be very specific to a scene. Define who belongs in each room. And, so we just kind of go on and we show more specifics. So then we say, okay, well, sometimes with vacant distressed houses, and again, I'm talking about vacant distress, but you talk about whatever house you happen to be in. I'm giving all of you a variety of examples for the purpose of this call. But then we go, okay, well, sometimes in houses, what do you do when this happens? It's a total disaster, right? Well, that's when you have to say, well, we got to get this thing cleaned out. We got to get it cleaned up. We have to again define our buyer and implement the 6 steps of staging that we talked about in the very beginning. So when a house explodes, that's exactly what we have to do. So our team can come in, get it cleaned up, get it cleaned out, and very specifically apply our 6 steps to staging once we've defined who our customer is. So people normally associate staging with very fancy homes, but really it should be in every single type of home to speak directly to who the buyer is. And we should always tickle their funny bone too. So instead of something like this, you can actually have something like this. So everybody see where I'm going with this? Can you guys just help me out? Show me your hands. Everybody with me so far? Everybody understand what's going on? Just lift up your hands. Let me see you. Okay, cool. Okay, so then next, again, we could give them a few more examples of different things. So here's an example, and this kind of really lends itself sneakily. I'm not sure if that's a word or not. So if it is, that's good. If it's not, it's okay. And it also sort of, helps you to show your own skill set. It helps you to show people what your days on market are. Now, whenever I'm showing ugly houses, or what I try to do is show them the pictures of the house that we're in, and if I need additional pictures of houses, I show them similar types of properties. So here you've seen real basic properties. If I'm doing luxury homes, I might show a few different luxury style homes. If I'm doing apartments, obviously I'm showing a variety of different apartments, okay? But we always want to show the house we're in, the befores and afters, and then if we need additional photos in support of that, they should be like properties. So here, obviously, these are more investment-based properties, vacant and distressed style. On the market 8 weeks, after staging, second showing, sold. Real inexpensive staging, how to update something that's outdated. We just give them some real quick tips on that, and they're immediately like, wow, that made a huge, huge difference. Right, because not every agent sells a pretty house. A lot of them are ugly. A lot of them are disheveled. A lot of them are dirty. Many of them are outdated, but if they can give just some quick tips on exactly what to do to go from something like this to something like this, it makes an enormous impact. And then, of course, we always tell them how to layer in fun pockets of emotion. You're not teaching them to stage, and I'm going to say that a million times tonight, okay? So what do you do for curb appeal? We always talk about curb appeal no matter what kind of houses we're doing. So again, you see that I'm showing them how good I am at the very top. I say before curb appeal, 2 lowball offers. After curb appeal, 97% of asking price and sold. Here's just a few things we can do even on these older homes that we really don't have a big margin in, or on these older homes where they're really not fixed up and we don't want to overdo them because it would look odd. But here's what we did in foreclosure. There were no walk-ins, 3 showings, 2 offers. 16 showings, no offers, 1 showing, sold, full market value. There you go. Whew. Okay, so you really want to stop and say, okay, really, how bad was this house that we're in? Now, I always save the one that we're in for last. And remember, all I've ever shown so far are like properties. And we've shown before and after. I've sort of snuck in a few BARs, right, before, after, and results. So they start going, wow, she's amazing. How does she do that? I've got to do that with my properties. And then I show them this house and I say, how bad was this property? You be the judge. And I kind of start to tell them the story of the house. Many of you go, well, Karen, what if it's a client? I don't know the story. Ask about the story. This is your presentation, right? Or take them to a house where you know you can give them a good story. And I just tell them the whole story of the house, and that's when we stop and we let them in just a minute, actually, we say, okay, now it's up to you. We're going to do our staging demonstration, and in just 1 second, here's what's going to happen. And I tell them, you know, everybody go look at all the rooms, blah, blah, blah. And then we do a staging demo in one of the rooms if we haven't already done it. But usually they've seen how bad the house is, and then they get to walk through the house and see the transformation. You hear lots of people like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. This is amazing, you know, and so on and so forth. And as I said, if you haven't already done a demo, now is a good time that you'll do a demo as well. Then everybody's having a good time. You're going to keep letting them have a cocktail or two. Nobody overdrinks, so don't, you know, we don't buy that much alcohol, so FYI, there's enough for everybody to have 1 to 2 drinks. That's it. And this is all very quick. This has all happened in about 60 to 75 minutes. So the social hour, the registrations, the demo, the walk through the house, the PowerPoint, and now we're doing a drawing for the iPod, okay? Then we always tell everybody that remind them about the next 30 days, and they can win a flip camera, whoever brings the most people, the most showings, and then whoever brings a buyer in the next 30 days gets an additional $1,000 bonus. We remind them how much staging helps. We remind them how much more money they can make by doing stagings. And then, of course, we say, now you know how to turn a smelly cat into a cash cow. So for those of you that are interested in becoming a certified APSD home stager, you might be asking yourselves, what's next? Well, it's a great question. It's time to join the APSD home staging family, the new generation of certified home stagers. How do you do it? Well, let's first talk about whether or not this program's for you. It's for you if you're new to home staging, or maybe you do have some experience in the home staging industry, but you're looking to take your business to the next level. Or you have a busy schedule and you need some flexibility on when and where you can learn and become certified. And finally, this training is for you if you might be an experienced home stager who needs to attract new clients and you're ready to generate multiple streams of income. So, as you can see, this works for brand new home stagers who've been in the industry for a little while, and seasoned home stagers, all of whom are ready to either grow or build a successful home staging business. And just to show you how confident I am in this APSD certified home stager training, I have a no-risk offer for you. This is a session 1 free CD. It's the very first session in our certified home stager training program, and we give you so much content, so much information, and so much value. This is actually worth over $200. When you order this free CD, which is again session 1 of the Home Stager Certified Training Program, you'll receive the audio and video training of this particular session. You'll also receive the digital Home Stager Session number 1 workbook, an ebook that I've personally written called The 5 Steps to Success in the Home Staging Industry, an APSD Home Staging Pro Planner, and the APSD Private Members Only networking site, plus the It's Your Turn special promotion. So, how do you find out about each and every one of these wonderful products? Well, simply join the APSD family today by getting your free complimentary Session 1 CD. All you have to do is simply go to apsdmembers.com/home staging training. You're also welcome to just give us a call, and I'll be glad to personally speak with you. So I look forward to welcoming you into the APSD home staging family today.